You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show, the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers today, but we got Kyle from Madison, so let's see what he wants.
Hey, Kyle from Madison again.
Hey.
I never watch these guys. I can't stand the Fox post-game studio crew. I hate them, but it's just on the TV. And I was going to call you, and they actually, was it the Meathead Gronk or somebody started talking about exactly what I was going to talk about. And they were saying how, between the Hail Mary game and the field goal game for the Bears, and I mentioned this on After Dark this week too, about how, these games, the season can really just turn on a single game. Look at the Bears with those two last play of the game losses. And that's why it makes this such a freaking great game, because it's like the Bears played good. That's about as good as Williams can play. The Packers didn't play good at all. Had some moments, but for the most part, I would say that's like a C game. But we won, and they lost. And I just think, like, the mission now, in my mind, because I do think, obviously, Williams has talent. And we don't want to see that talent ever blossom for Packers fans, We don't even want to mess around. So, I think the mission here is we want to make sure that the Bears coach gets fired by year's end, and we want to participate in hastening that as much as possible because, like a few of your Chicago sports talk that you played in Laughing at the Enemy this week talked about how, the Bears have been perpetually stuck in this thing where the previous regime drafts the quarterback and then gets hamstrung with that quarterback after they're fired. The next regime then has the guy that wasn't their guy. And I think that's got to be the goal with Williams, to try and maximize the chances that he'll be a bust. Because obviously he has ability. I didn't think they really asked him to do a lot, but he did make a couple throws that made you just freaking go crazy today. And certainly not having depth at cornerback hurt us. But man, the D-line was kind of cheeks today too, though, which is embarrassing. But I just think what you want to have happen here is have the Bears clean house at the end of this season. And I think that there's a chance at that. And this certainly, to twist a knife like that at the very end again. Oh, good Lord. They might even fire the freaking, I don't know. Maybe the Bears played good enough to not fire their coach, but holy crap. When you lose two games like that, and then how about at the end there where they got time, they could get a couple more yards, Instead, they just wander around for 30 seconds and call timeout with 3 seconds left. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Some pretty bad late game stuff from the Bears coach there. But anyway, you got to love that we came on the top. I guess it was Brooks or Slayton with the tip. Brooks, they're giving it credit to. Unbelievable play. Just freaking unbelievable play, man. So anyway, talk to you later.
Yeah, I think you're right about Caleb. The biggest issue with teams like the Bears and like the Jets and whatnot is dysfunctional or organizational dysfunction. Maybe sometimes you can overcome that, but in the end, I think it tends to blow up in your face as long as your organization is a mess. And we definitely want that to continue. You don't want cohesion. That doesn't help, right? Maybe they're going to start to figure out. We already talked about like Matt Nagy. There's an argument to be made that if they'd have stuck with Matt Nagy, that maybe things would have actually turned around. But they gave him basically a year, and then they brought in a new guy, gave him 1 year with that guy, and then that didn't work, and screw this guy, fire him. Okay. So yeah, if we want to keep this mess going, we got to continue on with the formula, which is, once you draft the quarterback of the future, immediately fire everybody and bring in a new regime that did not bring in that quarterback, the wide receivers, didn't make any of these decisions, didn't do any of this stuff, and say, okay, here's my mess, fix it. And then they decide, well, the best way to fix it, I'll try initially just fixing what's here, but eventually what we're going to do is we're going to have to tear down the team. And they tear down the team and they rebuild it. And then when that doesn't work, they fire the people that built it, and then they bring in somebody else to fix the problem. And at some point, you have to make the right decisions and then let it ride. And, part of the issue clearly is that they're not making the right decisions. The other issue is that they're not committing to any of these decisions. And you say, well, they'll commit to people for like 4 years. And it's like, well, it's only really 2, just as an example. Because, let's say you've got Poles for 4 years. It's like, yeah, but he spent the first 2 years trying to clean up the mess and the next 2 years trying to build. And then you cut him off because it's been 4 years. But really, he didn't have enough time to build up because it was only 2 years. So now you bring in somebody else who tries to further that mission for 2 years, and that doesn't work. And so they start to tear down and then start to rebuild. But after, a period of time, which isn't enough time to build a football team, it's this recurring cycle that just never works. And so, yeah, I'm with you. We're starting to see the defense really start to come together thanks to this actually pretty impressive defensive mind that they have at head coach. The defense is quite scary, and they're doing some things very, very well. And, one of the other issues that people have, and I think Packer fans do this a lot of people in general do this, but one of the things I've noticed is to ignore the good and only focus on the bad. That way it's really easy to just fire everybody because you just assume, well, we got to fix what's bad here. Like Matt LaFleur, he's got to go because, he can't quite get guys ready. Do you understand how much of the offensive success is because of Matt LaFleur that you take for granted? And if Matt LaFleur goes away, the odds of us being like a bottom 10 offense could potentially happen. I don't want to just completely pull the rug out from underneath our offense and roll the dice and just see what happens, maybe getting a terrible new person in that can't do their job and the offense completely falls apart. But hey, at least he had some leadership ability 5 years ago. He demonstrated that he can control, which, by the way, the locker room's never going to be good when the team's bad. But, that's kind of where we're at with the Bears now. Like, well, this guy's a complete joke. Well, not complete joke. Not complete. Partial joke. As far as the defense is concerned, I think he's doing a good job. The Jets are an exact example of this. Robert Saleh, he's not doing a good job with the locker room. The players, he's lost the locker room, he lost all that stuff. It's a disaster, so we got to fire him. What they didn't realize is how much of their success was, as little as their success seemed to be, they just assumed that everything that's good stays good. And when we fire this guy, only the bad goes away, and then we can just... No. This person is the reason for a lot of your success, and their defense went from one of the best to plummeting as soon as he left, because they never even contemplated the possibility that maybe this guy was actually propping up a lot of the success. So that's what we don't want the Bears to realize. And so when this guy gets fired, ideally, the defense falls apart, and now you have no defense, and you're trying to build an offense, but you've got a guy that is starting to build an offense through somebody else's vision. So either you try to continue somebody's vision, or you start over, in which case you start to get rid of a lot of guys, which is what the Bears always do. They start pitching guys out of there, and you got to run into free agency because you can't build a team through the draft. There's not enough time, not to restart an entire draft or an entire team. Anyways, you get the idea. Chris from Alabama.
Hey, what's going on, man? Chris from Alabama, one more time. You know what I just thought about? I know I'm upset on how we won, but you know what kind of brings me just a little smidget of joy?
What's up?
Because I'm thinking about if I was a Bears fan right now, how butthurt I would be to have hope. I had genuine 100%, as a Bears fan, I had 100% genuine hope. And Caleb showed me something in the last minute of the game and got us in position to win the game. And I have hope. I'm a Bears fan, and I'm knowing, like, we're about to beat the Packers finally. And the field goal gets blocked. And my heart just sinks down to the pit of my stomach, and I'm just distraught. So knowing that Bears fans are distraught and devastated after having hope, kind of made me a little bit happy. I still don't like our performance, but that part of it kind of makes me happy. It actually really makes me very happy. And I'm waiting to see all the tears that's going to fall from Bears fans on social media. And I'm about to go look at that right now because it's happening right at this moment. I know it is. But I just wanted to call back and say that, yeah, disappointed in the performance, but giving the Bear fans some hope, only for them to be devastated at the end, brings me so much joy. But go Pack Go, and I'll talk to y'all later.
So funny that we all came to that same realization, like around the exact same time. Like it was, I had that realization, and then I play the next call, and it's exactly that. You know, hey, guess what? I just realized that was a much more crushing defeat than had it just been a blowout or whatever. And now you've called in. Just all of us just kind of had this. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm glad that it hurt him even more.
Ryan,
We're all
Bearkeys
sick.
Benny here. Guess what?
What's up?
The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. They really, 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 really suck. The Bears still suck. Bump, bump. The Bears still suck. We won the game. Listen, I'm going to tell you what Matt LaFleur is going to tell you in the press conference. It's hard to win in this league. We won the game. Now listen, that was horrible and hideous. What was that freaking call with running it on 2nd and goal, and then Love tries to run it in, and I just thought that was so stupid, but I'm happy we won because, like, we broke it down. If we didn't win, it would look really bad for our playoff chances. We needed to win that game. Coming off a bye, okay, I understand the rust, but that's total bullcrap, man. Gotta have your team ready. Now listen, I think that the Packers, they played a cleaner game offensively. They didn't have as many penalties. They looked very clean.
Yep.
Let's be honest about this, guys. They actually fixed the problem. Maybe, hopefully, because you hope they can bring that into the next game. But Chris,
That is a good point and probably an underrated point. I think we're so distraught that it wasn't an easier win. But if you kind of piece this all together, and I'm not trying to just be overly positive for the sake of positive. I don't think I'm saying anything that's untrue. I think the Packers took a big step forward in terms of playing a cleaner game. I think Jordan played a cleaner game. Yes, that interception was still bad. But aside from that one throw, how many bad throws did he have? I don't remember any. It felt like a clean game. It felt like the Bears played maybe the best game they've played all year. And so when you look at it, yeah, the Packers probably could have played, should have played a lot better. But I think there was an element of the Bears were a pretty good team in that game. Hopefully that doesn't continue. And we beat them, which, divisional games are always weird. This is why, JJ always says he will never bet on a divisional game because they're just too weird. All the math goes out the window. That's why. The math tries to give you an edge when you're betting, but the math goes out the window when it's a divisional game. So you just don't know. But they played better football. But on the other side of that, the things that we were hoping to see from the Packers were kind of starting to see, even though there was a pretty big step backwards from the defense in terms of why did you forget how to tackle? I don't really understand what happened there. But there were positive takeaways, I guess, would be something that needs to be considered.
Watson, what a beast. He was a beast in this game. Beast for us to get down the field there and score. And we actually scored. And the defense, I question, man. I'm starting to question it. It's almost looking no better than Joe Barry or Mike Pettin. It's almost looking that way. And again, I'll give it a pass this time because of the fact that the Bears, they fired their offensive coordinator, got a new one, right? So they probably had a couple different looks, a couple different things in their playbook. Maybe, I don't think the playbook changes that much when you have to change offensive coordinators in the middle of the season. But Caleb Williams is still trash. And I told my friend who's a Lions fan and my friend who's a Bears fan, I'm like, Caleb Williams, he's just a freaking check down merchant, a pass screen merchant. And, you know, basically, I don't think the Packers were ready for what they were doing, which is pathetic. It's got to change, man. Things have got to change. I'm glad we won. Again, I'm very happy.
And to be, again, to come to the defense of the Packers, you know, they need to be more prepared. That's fair in almost every other situation except when there's a brand new offensive play caller and there's nothing to prepare for. There's nothing really there. You could say, well, we saw him against or what he did in Carolina. Why do we think he's going to do the same thing he did in Carolina? He's had an entire year with the Chicago Bears, an entire year of learning under this offensive coordinator. He's not going to say, well, we're going to throw out the entire playbook, build an entire new playbook from scratch, and it's the one that I used over there, even though I didn't build that one either. I was just going off of their playbook. No, it's the same playbook. We're just going to call different plays. The question is, what is their game plan? What are his tendencies? Don't know. Don't know. Given this is their quarterback and this is their offense, he's not going to have the same plan for Caleb and this offense that he did with Carolina, because it's a different group of people. So, you know, do they need to be more prepared? Generally, yes. Does Jeff Hafley need to be more prepared when it comes to having no idea what your opponent is going to do? Not so much.
Happy. I wore the Jaden Reed jersey today, the brand new one that I just bought. By the way, if you guys aren't getting your jerseys from DHgate, you guys are stupid, man. I'm paid $30 for this jersey, and it looks absolutely legit. All right, and so anyways, I'm wearing this jersey, and the first touchdown is Jaden Reed. How
3 minutes got him. All right, continue.
Continuation. Anyways, that's darn it. I'm kind of losing my train of thought here.
Jaden Reed, jersey, scored the first touchdown.
The Packers defense, they kind of did enough, but not really at the same time. It just seems like, dude, like, Gutekunst is going to need to get some corners, like, in this next draft. Like, we don't have any guys that can cover, man. Nobody can cover. And I just feel like the offense, like, they blocked very well. And I thought Jordan was good for the most part. That pick on the 1 or 2 yard line or whatever was so stupid. Like, how could you throw it over his head? Like, I literally would rather him throw it backwards 50 yards than do that. That was so stupid. And it's really screwed me up that I lost my train of thought literally 3 seconds after I ended because of the stupid 3-minute mark. But anyways, you know, the first drive of the game, I thought that was beautiful, man. They utilized the run game. And, you know, like, our other running backs stepped up, too. Like, let's be honest. Like, they did what they needed to do. And this next game against the 49ers, we are going to have to be way better than that. We're going to have to score on every opportunity we have. We did not score on every opportunity we had, but, you know, it's funny because I have a buddy that's a Bears fan, and he was like, in all caps, he texted me, Bears! And I was like, that's okay. They'll miss the field goal. Like, kind of just being cocky and confident. I was like, yeah, they'll miss the field goal. And sure enough, Packers actually came through and blocked that shit. That was freaking epic, man. So, you know, say what you want. Well, Fleur is right. It's hard to win in this league. And we did everything we needed to do. And I was talking to my other buddy who is a Lions fan. By the way, I freaking hate the Lions.
You got to get some better friends, man.
And he was saying, I was telling him, like, hey, don't get hot at the right time. Packers might have not gotten hot at the right time. And they might just be figuring things out. They'll get to the playoffs, and they'll have it all figured out. So let's have some optimism. Go, Pack, go. Bears still suck.
Yeah, we'll see. It's hard to know. It's hard to know if we're getting hot at the right time because it's hard to know if we're getting hot. There are some positives. There are some negatives. It's just a matter of what we're going to have by the time this thing settles. And it's even that is a stupid thing to say. It's not going to settle. There's no settling. It's a matter of, you know, even what we are the first week of the playoffs might not be what we are in the second week or the third week of the playoffs or whatever. So I don't know, man. It's a week-to-week thing, and this week we played the Bears and we won, and that win streak continues. So that's about all as far as real takeaways, that's pretty much it. But you're right about the fact that there are some positives there, and the team played better, offensive line, whatever. Corner, I do think, is, as you said, one of the bigger needs that we have. Even when Jair plays, there's a lot of questions. I don't know. I don't know that Keyshawn is the best option. The Packers seem to love the guy, no doubt about it. But I can't help but feel like that is the biggest need that we have right now. So we'll see how y'all. One of the funny things about doing this is if you look at what we're talking about in terms of draft in week 4 compared to week 8, compared to week 15, it generally changes. So again, here's where we're at, but let's wait and see where we're really at.
Hey, Ryan, hopefully you can hear me. I dropped my freaking phone in a mop bucket. How retarded.
Oh, that's interesting.
What
did you do that for?
Sorry for saying that. Anyways, to all the fans that are going to say, like,
that.
oh, this is terrible. Like, all right, well, imagine if we lost to the Bears. Imagine that. If we lost, would you guys be saying the same thing? I mean, like, we won, so, like, shut up. Like, we did everything we could to win the game. We blocked the field goal. That was so sweet. And you should not complain about this. Yes, not good enough. It's unacceptable. But we won, so just move on. Get better. We'll beat the 49ers. They looking like they're sucking against the Seahawks. So Seahawks can do it. We can do it better.
Well, that is going to be a big question mark. I mean, the two competing things, without having looked at the 49ers quite yet, the two competing things in my mind are, number one, this is not the 49ers of old. This is not the same 49ers team that has largely beat the crap out of us, although we have beaten the 49ers. It's not like we haven't in the Matt LaFleur era. But then there's also just a question of the 49ers just kind of know how to play us and have generally made us look a lot worse than we usually do up against other opponents. I would like to think that Robert Saleh is going to help us with that, but as I've said, Robert Saleh's been here for 2 weeks, and these have been 2 of the least impressive weeks that I've seen. So I don't know how much he's helping right now, but if the only thing he does for us is help give us some insight into how to beat the 49ers, I guess I'd be okay with that. But those are the two competing things. Number one, let's not pretend that the 49ers are some mythical monster that are just tearing up the NFL right now, because they're not. At this point, they're going to miss the playoffs. In fact, I'm building a little folder of laughing at the 49ers, and one of the things I saw that was tweeted out was essentially if the 49ers miss the playoffs, they need to fire Shanahan, which I think is absurd, but I will sign off on that absolutely. But yeah, that is going to be the question. Does it matter if they're good or bad because it's the 49ers and it's Shanahan and all that stuff? I don't know. I guess we'll find out when we get there.
Hey, think about this, Ryan. I'm sorry for calling in again. But, the Chiefs, they won a game by blocking a field goal in a game in which they shouldn't have won. And the Packers did the same thing. So, ipso facto, Packers Chiefs Super Bowl, and then the Packers will win because who gives a damn, dude? Pack Nation, blah, blah. Go, Pack, go.
It works for me. I mean, that all makes sense. Did we take a break? I don't know if we took a break. Why don't we take a break? We'll be right back. We got one more from Beer Cheese.
Hey, I know I'm calling in again, right?
You're good, dude.
It's just craziness, brother.
It is super crazy out there in the world.
The Packers, it seems like they did everything that they could do to win the game. Well, at the end, obviously, which was clutch. I'm so glad that our special teams actually came through for once and didn't screw us. But also, like, the rest of the team did everything they could to lose the game, which is total bullcrap. We're going to have to clean this up because the 49ers are high-powered offense, and they're going to screw us up. Like, we're going to get screwed up. And unless our offense can score, like, on every drive, like, touchdowns, like, basically go, like, only one drive maybe
going the field goal, like we're gonna lose. So, but anyways, I don't even care, dude. We're 7-3. There's room for improvement, and like we talk about, a lot of teams they peak too early. They peak way too early, and I feel like the Packers just have not peaked yet. They just really haven't. I mean, yeah, you could say like they peaked when they had Willis in, but that doesn't count. It's Willis. Come on, it's the second stringer. Packers are doing everything that they can, and I think the Packers are a good team, and I think that we're winning the Super Bowl. So screw you guys, screw everyone who's doubting. I never doubt because I just be buying jerseys and like the players score literally like the next game after I buy the jersey and have it. So, what jersey should I buy next, bro? 'Cause I'm gonna buy another jersey. You let me know, Ryan, and I'll buy that jersey. And I'll be wearing that, and I guarantee you that player will score. So anyways, go Pack go.
Well, yeah, I think we got to, one thing I got to remember to do is not afford another team more grace than the Packers. I think a lot of times it's like, oh, we're just biased Packer fans. Yeah, but sometimes we can be biased in the other direction. And one of the problems that I have is, like I've said before, I'll look at a team like the 49ers or the Chiefs and be like, yeah, they're not playing well, but they're going to figure it out. They always freaking do. But I won't do that for the Packers. Like you said, we haven't peaked yet or whatever. Well, that's probably true. I mean, I certainly hope that we haven't peaked yet. But yet I'm not just assuming that like I will with other teams. Like, the 49ers are going to figure it out. The Chiefs are going to figure it out. This team's going to figure it out. And they have, for the most part, figured it out. Yeah, I mean, this is not the best version of the Packers. We know that. We've seen that. It's possible they don't get any better. But, again, if I'm going to assume that a lot of these teams are going to get better, why wouldn't I do that for the Packers? There's a high likelihood that we know this team can get better, and they probably will get better. So there you go. They're not there yet. They haven't peaked. They probably will. Maybe they won't. I don't know.
Hey, what's up, man? Kyle from Madison again. What an awesome day, huh? Beating the frickin' Bears. There's some crybabies out there crying about, oh, we played and all that. I don't care. That was so freaking sweet. Oh, so delicious of a win. And it's a win. So I think we can move on. I think the Bears were freaking desperate today. And I was just listening to LaFleur after for his post game. He spent quite some time talking about Watson. And I was just thinking, it'd be awfully nice for a lot of reasons. I don't know if it's going to be our year. We'll see. Basically they're giving themselves a chance to get hot at the end of the year and maybe go for a championship. We're not there right now, but they're giving themselves a chance, especially with wins like this. But he was talking about Watson, and it just got me thinking, next year's his contract year. Tantalizing, I think, is the word we agreed upon for Christian Watson a couple of years ago. And he so is. It'd be awfully nice if him and Love could just pop off the rest of the season and then into next season. So when it comes to payday, it's like there's really no question about does he deserve it and how much is he.
Again, we are all just on the same page. This is exactly what I said yesterday. If I were to predict it, or if I were to say who I want to get the money right now is the number one, I think it's Watson. But what I would need is he needs to stay healthy for the remainder of the season and just leave no doubt. I want him to just continue to dominate so that by the end of the year we can say we got him, we got our guy, the health issues are figured out. Not that he's never going to get hurt again, but we don't have to worry about him constantly being hurt with this nagging injury, and just feel very good about paying him the money.
Number one, because I can also see a scenario where they don't quite get it going this year, and then next year he pops off, and then you got a scenario where you got to pay him like a number one, which would be a good problem to have. But
sure,
it'd be really nice to see those guys get going like they did today and just cook a little bit. And man, Watson just freaking mossed those guys. He was either getting open or he was mossing DBs. So freaking great game unbelievable game from Watson today. I need more of that, please. Thank you.
I'm with you, man. I've been clinging on to certain people, and Watson's one of them that I don't want to let go of. Devontae Wyatt, and who else have I been doing that with? I don't know, but just And Watson was always different than even like Wyatt. I liked Wyatt in college, and I liked the idea of a guy like that. It wasn't that way with Watson. I watched him and just thought, God, this guy is so unbelievably good, but for whatever reason, it just didn't work out. You know, either it was his issues with injuries or his issues with drops or whatever the case. You know, Rodgers not throwing in his direction when he's wide open down the field. It just never materialized. And then when it finally did, and it's like, holy crap, there it is. And you can see it. That's the other thing. It's like, I knew it. I knew that's how good he was. And then he goes out with an injury. It's like, damn it. We finally got it, and then he got hurt. So, like I said, just stay healthy and stay up. Stay doing what you're doing. I'm not saying 150 every game or 4 touchdowns every game or whatever, but just continue being a consistent guy, and hopefully we lean a little bit harder on Christian Watson. I think there is a feeling out period of who do we lean on, who do we run the offense through. You know, we thought Wicks was the guy. We pushed real hard at Wicks, and it got to the point where it's like, okay, we got to stop throwing at this guy because he can't catch anything. But Reed was the one catching the fire. It's like, all right, that's our guy. So then they started pushing the offense through Reed, and then Reed stopped being that guy. And it's like, what the hell? What's going on here? Then Dobbs popped off right after he had his little fit, and now it's like, okay, Dobbs is a guy. And then the last 2 weeks, Dobbs has not been doing it. So there's just been this constant, like, can one of you frickin' guys just step up to the plate and stay there rather than being like, oh, I don't want to be that. These guys are allergic to being number 1 wide receivers or something. I'm hopeful that we start recognizing, okay, this is our most reliable guy. He's our most athletic. He's the freakiest guy we have on this freaking offense. We need to start running this offense through him a little bit more. You know, Josh Jacobs, absolutely, and we got to utilize the other guys. But let's just acknowledge this is the number 1 guy and try to get the ball in his hands as often as is possible. And I think there will be good results if we do that.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing? Pac-Man Jersey, Jim.
What's up?
Been about an hour and a half, kind of back to normal. 3+ beers here, just reminiscing the game. I still don't know what the hell I just witnessed. I think it's kind of funny, though. Like, you get these sportscasters with their little funny puns that they throw out there. You know, I think they're comedians like George Carlin. And I heard one this afternoon about a Diana Ross reference about you can't hurry love, you know, and like, oh, it's not his fault. He's throwing all these interceptions and whatnot. I'd like to rebut that with Tina Turner's what's love got to do with it? Because this guy didn't win us the game. He did all right for the most part, besides that interception. I don't even know who to blame on that. I don't know if Kraft thought he was throwing it to somebody else and he just gave up on the ball.
Oh, no, that was 100% on Jordan. There's nothing to give up on. That was uncatchable for Kraft.
Whatever. It's in the past. But, yeah, man. I don't know. It's all luck. It really is. We look like the Chiefs. The Chiefs are getting lucky. We are too. If that's our Super Bowl matchup, let's hope that we got more luck on our side. I don't know. And of course, you know, we all witnessed the Lions smacking up the Jaguars. They did us no favors today. Tennessee still Tennessee. So we'll see, buddy. Anyway, you guys have a good weekend. Talk to you soon. I'll pack up.
Once again, I just want to point out how funny it is. You guys are always on the same page. Just now it comes down to 2 lucky teams ending up in the Super Bowl together. Like, I don't know. We've all just mind melded up to this point.
It's just so beautiful to see these highlights. I mean, for what, half a decade or more now, but especially today. But you know the one where they pan the camera across the corner of the end zone of Soldier Field, and you just see like 30,000 dead eyes staring 1,000 yards at nothing. Just hopeless, dreams crushed. What a brilliant next chapter in that highlight reel.
Well, it is funny. I mean, even after the Washington thing, there was just this, like you said, a highlight reel or low light reel of the most unlucky team in the history. That I didn't even realize how bad it had been for them with some of these brutal losses. And, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was after one of the more brutal losses, losing in one of the dumbest ways ever, you've got this, and it's to the Packers. I mean, it just, again, we underappreciate how great that was from the standpoint of really just, I mean, if you want good laughing at the enemy content, that game could not have gone any better at all.
Well, that was a terrible, terrible, awful game. Winning by 1 point to the Bears is not something we should be proud of at any point. But watching the Bears meltdown after that kick got blocked, I can't even put the feeling into words how satisfying it is. It almost makes up for how bad that game was. Almost. It doesn't really, but it was close. It was close though. But for real, if we want any chance of salvaging this season and like actually making a playoff run, we can never play like that again. Ever. Okay? It needs to be for real the rest of the season. Okay? Go Pack Go.
Yeah, there's always a chance that the other team's playing as bad or worse. I mean, that's what happened with the 49ers, right? The 49ers, we played the 49ers. They played like garbage, but they still won because we played garbager. So outside of hoping for that everybody else just sucks worse than us, yeah, I mean, that is the expectation. Please play good because good teams win. All right? That's pretty freaking straightforward, folks.
Hey, Ryan, you know who this is. Just stewing over my beers for the past couple hours and watching the Bengals Chargers game here. A win is a win. I hate that term. And it is what it is. I hate that term even more. I gotta say, I'm very, very disappointed with what our team showed out there today. They didn't show much. To put it bluntly, we look like SHIT, right? Not happy. Not really, honestly, yeah. Oh, next week, yeah. Yeah, my son just put it in my ear. We got the Niners next week. That is the ultimate hump, right? We haven't beaten the Niners in 30 years or some shit like that?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
I don't know. I kind of want to cry and puke and piss at the same time, but
should go to the doctor.
Like they say, a win is a win. It's a joke. I'm not a firm believer in our team. Like I said, not to sound like a negative Nancy, but reality is what it is. That's what it is. All right. Anyway, peace. Good night. Go Pack Go.
Let's take a look here, just because this is another one of those wives' tales that kind of gets spun up a little bit. It was 2021. It was the last time we beat the 49ers, and before that it was 2020. Before that it was 2018. And this is not, remember, this isn't a divisional opponent, even though we have seen them an inordinate amount of times. Thanks to not only the schedule, but also the playoff, constantly seeing them in the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the last 4 games, we've beaten them 50% of the time. If you look at the last 8 games, we've beaten them 50% of the time. So, I mean, it's been a rough run, and it feels a lot worse than probably it is, because the beatings have been so bad usually, and we're talking playoffs. So, like 2024, that was playoffs, so that hurt really bad. Even though it was a really close game, we lost by 3. 2022 was the last time we played them before that. That one we only lost by 3, but it hurt really bad because it was playoffs. Time before that, we beat them. And the time before that, we actually kicked the living crap out of them. Time before that, we lost, and it was the playoffs. Time before that, we lost. It wasn't the playoffs, but we lost by 30 points. So it's either been blowout or playoff, or both in the case of 2020, where we lost by 17 points in the playoffs. But those are a lot more memorable than, hey, we saw them in the regular season and beat them. I guess another way to put it is, in Matt LaFleur's time, let's see if that's true. That's not true. So Matt LaFleur's first time Matt LaFleur coached was the 37-8. But since then, we haven't lost to them in the regular season. So we're actually 2-1 in Matt LaFleur's time in the regular season against the 49ers. But we're 0-3 in the playoffs, so there's that. Hey. Holy crap, time is flying. Why don't we take our next break? We got a bunch more beer, cheese, Benny, who's been letting the libations flow a little bit, I think. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Packernet Podcast. Beer Cheese Benny here. Happy Victory Monday.
What's up, man?
Listen, Jordan Love, yes, he threw that pick, but I thought he looked so much better. He wasn't making a bunch of boneheaded mistakes, and you got to respect him on that, 4th and goal, just trying to get there. I thought it was stupid that we even had to come down to that, but you know what? He was balls to the wall. And I thought that he did just about everything we asked him to, really, other than, I don't know, I guess the play sequences kind of screwed everything up during the game, and there was times we couldn't get things going. But you gotta remember, man, the Bears have a pretty good defense. So, but yeah, we should have put him away right there with that interception. I love Brenton Cox. Holy crap, dude. I mean, that was amazing, dude. Like, man, getting rid of Smith was just so freaking key for him. Like, he's just showing out, man. And, well, Van Ness, not so much. And Quay Walker is still bad. Holy crap. We're going to have to fix that. And this defense is going to have to fix some things. And I truly believe, this offensive coordinator that the Bears had to have this week, he kind of changed some things up. It was hard for Green Bay to prepare for that, but so at the end of the day, I mean, what does Caleb Williams do? We just throw screen passes, and we weren't prepared for that. Like, I mean, they knew that going in, like it was going to be basically the same like that, but there's a couple of minute changes to their offense. But I'm just happy we won, man. Because if we didn't, I don't know if I could have got out of bed this morning, to be honest with you, bro. But, I think early on, the Packers had a really good establishment of run, and everything looked smooth. I think they kind of got away from it on a couple other drives. They kind of got away from what was working. But you know what? Again, I'm never going to complain about a W. It's unacceptable how we won. Should never came down to that. But isn't it funny that the special teams actually came through for once, blocked the field goal? That was awesome. But anyways, go Pack, go.
It's good to have 3 phases. That's what's been missing. It's always, well, we could have, but we didn't have a defense, or we could have, but we had the worst special teams in history. I'm not saying we're great in all 3 phases, but I don't know that we have anything that's a massive liability. Special teams is not a liability right now in any way, shape, or form. Got a really good punter, got a really good kicker, and as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing else that's lacking. The long snapper, I guess, but can't win them all. Defense is as underwhelming, I guess you could say, as some of that was. They've been a good defense so far this year. So that's what we need is 3 phases. Now we just got to see them start to take steps to get a little bit better in each phase.
Ryan, Pierce, Benny. Let me make one thing absolutely clear. I know I've called like freaking 10 times. I know I'm listening to your episode right now, and you said there's 37 calls. I probably account for at least 5 or 6 of those. I want to make one thing absolutely clear. I am happy that we won, but I am not happy with how we won. Okay? Listen, I'm very glad that we had
Brooks step up and block that. Now, is most of that luck? Yes, it is. But we also have to make one thing clear. We didn't technically deserve to win in most people's eyes, but in the words of Clint Eastwood, deserve's got nothing to do with it. We have got to start humming on offense next week. Because 49ers will blow us out if we don't. And, this is just a Matt LaFleur era, after the bye week. It's just so pathetic. How can we never be prepared, man? I knew this coming in. I tweeted it out. I said, I predict that LaFleur will not be prepared and this game will be closer than it should be. And it was. So I was right, and, if we just can be efficient in the red zone, we blow these teams out. I'm done. Like you said, I'm done with the excuses, man. It's just like, and like we got Xavier McKinney all pissed off on the sideline. All right, dude, then freaking do something about it, man. Like, this has got to change, man. I didn't understand it. It felt like our defense overall was getting pressure. It was just like Caleb would evade, and then we couldn't cover, or like, Lucas Van Ness bissing. Totally, there's so many times. I think there was 3 times where Caleb should have sacked. But I don't know. I'm optimistic. I just feel like Packers haven't peaked yet, and all these other teams are peaking too early. That's kind of how I feel. The Lions. I mean, remember 2014 when the Packers? I didn't believe it was 2014. We scored hella points. We were blowing out teams all the time, and we freaking choked. So, I mean, I feel like that's what the Lions are going to do. So a lot of these other teams are going to do. And the Packers, what they're going to do is they're going to get hot at the right time, and we're going to win the Super Bowl. So, call me delulu, but that's what I think is going to happen. So, go Pack, go all the way to the Super Bowl.
I love your ability to start off with not being super happy with the team and saying things are not good enough, and ending with us winning the Super Bowl. So it's good to see that train of thought occur to where it can happen that fast. From I'm not happy to, you know what, screw it, we're gonna win the Super Bowl, man.
Hey, Ryan, in California. I hated the win, but it was the best win to crush Bears fans. But the defense, what happened? I don't know. But after everybody was just getting torched the whole game, you see on the sideline, it was kind of like that one sketch from that Netflix comedian where there's a hot dog truck that drove into a storefront, and everybody was like, "Who did this? Yeah, who did this?" And then this guy in a hot dog suit shows up, and he's like, "Yeah, whoever did this, say something, and let's not be too mad at him. Let's not be too mad, maybe he's doing, I don't know, who knows what he says, right? But it was just funny. The guy in the hot dog suit, the guy who's the one who did it, he's trying to, temper expectations, right? It's it's Quay running the sideline thing, getting mad at everybody when you're the one making the major mistakes.
Yep.
He's not as good as Eric Wilson. He's just not. And I think if we don't get this guy benched, because, I don't know. I think he plays good about 40% of the time, which would coincide with the consistency grade by PFF. He's at a 40 grade consistently, week after week. And I'm not the one to call for people getting benching. I'm the positive Packer fan that's they're trying real hard, right? But Quay just doesn't have it. Eric Wilson, McDuffie, and Cooper are your best linebackers. And Cooper should never be off the field. Yes, he had a couple angle issues trying to get Caleb because Cooper is fast, but he got angled by Caleb Williams a few times too. But I don't know, man. What happened to the defense we've been seeing? I know the last couple weeks we've been out of position because of injuries. Jair, man, you gotta get healthy, dude. What the hell? I'm just thinking we didn't get a corner, and our corners played good last year. They weren't all world, but they were solid, and it's just like, I don't know. We're just letting deep free drop. It's Joe Barry. Blame Joe Barry. That's all it is, right? I don't know, dude. We can't just let people just drop and just get easy passes. It's 2 seconds and throw, and there's always somebody wide open. You can't have it anymore. Find a way, athlete. Find a way. Go back out.
And again, I don't want to fall into the habit of pretending that what happened this one time is what's been happening all year. I've not noticed this issue at all year. This is one game in one instance where this happened. It's the first time I remember ever complaining about it. So, as far as I'm concerned, I think these haven't been issues, and I think these have been a lot better. I think our defense has been significantly better than what it was under Joe Barry and everything else. But it showed up this week, and it's more of a question of why did that happen? And hoping it doesn't happen again. I don't know if losing Jair causes you to be a little bit more cautious or what, but again, I don't want to get into the this has been a disaster and he's the same as Joe Barry and all that. It's like, well, no, it has not been like that all year. The same with everything else. I think we do that too much where we look at what happened this week and, being captured by the moment or whatever the phrase is, and pretending this is how it's always been and how it's always going to be. No, it's just what happened this week. I don't know why, but it didn't happen last week or the week before, and it probably won't happen again this next week. There will be new issues and new things to complain about, and we'll pretend that that's been the issue all week or all year and will be the issue going into the future. But yeah, I don't know why it happened, but hopefully they just freaking stop doing that, because that's a really bad habit to start getting into, and it's going to get you fired instantly because, that's what happened to Joe Barry. That's what should happen. If you're calling those plays, you're an idiot and should be fired, period.
No, just calling back. Our best stretch of defense was when Quay Walker was hurt. So I don't know, man. He's got to go.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing good enough football. The scheme needs to be more aggressive because we just can't let the...
And I want to bring it up because I forgot last time you brought it up, but, I do think we do the same thing with linebacker where it's Edgerrin Cooper's so good. No, he hasn't been good in forever. He had a couple good weeks and he showed flashes and all that stuff. And same with Eric Wilson. I don't think Eric Wilson's a great linebacker. I think he showed a little bit here, a little bit there. But that doesn't dissuade me from agreeing with everybody about Quay, because the fact of the matter is Quay has never shown what Edgerrin Cooper showed, even in very brief moments. And he's never shown what Eric Wilson showed at middle linebacker when he was gone. So it doesn't matter, even if people are over generalizing how great everybody else is. I don't think that they're great, and I don't even know if they're good with Wilson or Edgerrin Cooper. But I know that it's better than what we have with Quay, because Quay has never been good. Just never. So it doesn't matter if the other guys aren't as good as people seem to think they are. Even if they can be good half the time, that's better than what we're going to get from Quay. So I will sign off on that.
Quick throws. We got these deep guys. He's going to deter people from throwing deep with McKinney, but Quay needs to go, and we need to disrupt the timing of the quick pass game. Right? If we're giving up a few intermediate throws, that's all right. We're going to get more picks if they attempt the deeper throw, because McKinney will just hone in and steal it. So just clean it up, please. Take Quay off the field. I'm not the guy who complains about the guy playing bad, but I played linebacker and defensive end when I played, and I played junior college ball. I wasn't really any good, but when I'm a film guy, and I'm not watching any film. I haven't watched film at all, but when I'm watching the game and I just see this guy just straight up miss tackles and in a 2-foot hole against the quarterback, he just gets shook. It's like, you can't have it. And he used to go up against Justin Fields, right? Caleb's not Justin Fields' running ability. It should be easier, but he's making those seconds harder. I just can't get behind Quay anymore.
Yeah.
Go back out.
Yeah, I mean, that's one where I don't think there's any disagreement. I don't know anybody that's defending Quay at this point, and whoever they are, I don't even see Quay's family defending Quay. I don't see Quay defending Quay. So I think that one is, maybe everybody else is wrong and the team is right, but I am so tired of that experiment. I don't care what else he does right. The fact of the matter is, even if he is diagnosing things correctly, the guy puts himself in a position and then can't make the play. So even when he does it right, he still does it wrong. So yeah, it's a complete disaster, and I'm just over it. Anyways, I'm going to leave you guys with that. I'm going to get out of here. Have a good rest of your night. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.